Hello, 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 come on in. This is your energy update. This is going to be a video with light codes and spiritual guidance to assist you with aligning with your highest vibrational reality whenever this now moment is for you. So thank you for being here. Let's take some deep breaths. Let a few more people come into the room. And then I'm going to get started. Hey, my loves, come on in. So, shall we get into it? Shall we get into it, my loves? So, one of the first energies that I'd like to get into for us in this video is a clarifying of the energy of sovereignty. Sure, we see the word sovereign and sovereignty used in lots of different environments and circles and for lots of different purposes. And this is a spiritual space, and I'm referring to the word sovereignty in a spiritual manner. But I thought that before I got into this sovereignty light code, I would go on Google and Google sovereign definition, just to make sure I'm really utilizing this word in an appropriate manner. Since, the English language already exists, let's try and, weave through it and be appropriate with it. So you've got the noun form of the word sovereign, which references a supreme ruler, especially a monarch. Okay. And then you've got adjective. And one of these adjective definitions is what resonates most with me. I see three that I'm going to tell you. So under adjective for the word sovereign, we see possessing supreme or ultimate power. Then there's acting or done independently and without outside interference. There's two more synonyms for the adjective definition of sovereign. Possessing royal power and status. And finally, very good or effective. It seems we have been using the word sovereign here in this spiritual space very effectively, in a very appropriate way. So it's pretty cool to look at this definition of the word sovereign and then be like, yes, exactly in every way. Apply it spiritually in every way. In every way. You are the supreme ruler of your soul. You possess supreme and ultimate power over yourself. Acting or done independently. And yes, you act and do from spirit, not from outside influence, or here they said interference. Possessing royal power and status. Exactly. So sovereignty is a term that we use, and lately we have been using it in the spiritual community to reference kind of like another level of existing in. Another level. In fact, some of us have been using the word sovereign to be interchangeable with implying the fifth dimensional or a person's more evolved state. So, in fact, I would say that spiritual sovereignty is a manifestation of being fifth dimensional and vice versa. They manifest each other. Okay, so we spoke to the human a little bit about the word sovereign. You rule you. You rule you. You decide what you will do with your energy ultimately. While we can't always control how we feel about something, we can control how we respond to that feeling. We can't control what other people do to us, but we can control how we respond to what people do. We can't make people change but we certainly can be informed by people's behavior, and we can be moving forward in a more knowledgeable manner. We can navigate in a way that is more in alignment with the self once we get extra information from others. And so the big light code that I want to bring through here, and that I'm bringing through right now, is about sovereignty. Kitty? Oh, okay. Is about sovereignty, and how oftentimes we talk about being spiritually sovereign over ourselves, but maybe we don't always offer that freedom to others, as if it's something that we get before other people, or that we are spiritually sovereign, but other people aren't. And what I mean is, we're here saying, no, you can't tell me. You don't know my soul's truth. I know my soul's truth. And I move forward from my soul's truth because that is what feels right for me. And that's what I do. It doesn't matter what someone else on the outside tells me my soul wants. Because I am the one who is the owner of the soul, I ultimately decide how I will move forward. And that is sovereign. And also, as a sovereign being in that manner, I treat others in the same way. Even if they don't treat themselves in that way, I constantly treat everyone in a manner that is constantly giving them back their power. Because I treat them as sovereign beings, maybe even before they realize or come into the acknowledgement of their sovereignty, spiritual sovereignty. So I never treat anyone, or I try my best. I can't say never, right? I try my best to never want to change any person, or to never think I know more than what another knows for their soul, for their self, and for their actions over their soul. I can't change anyone. I can't make someone be different. I don't want anyone to be different for me. I don't need anyone to change for me. I don't need anyone to be different for me. Me, yeah, I need me to change for me. I need me to be different for me, and I can do as much work here as I so desire, because it is my land that I rule over, my own self. But other people, no. I do not have any status there. That's their land to rule over. Another person's choices and how they choose to be is their sovereign self manifesting and making choices. So please, especially in this current cosmic energy, whatever current means for you when you're watching this video, remember that you want to relay and reflect the same respect you have for yourself onto the people around you. If you don't want people telling you what to do, then don't tell people what to do. If you wouldn't want anyone to try and supersede your own free will, if you wouldn't want someone to, tell you what to think or how to feel or what you should do next, or take away any ounce of your freedom and the ability to choose for yourself, if you wouldn't want that, then don't do that to others either. No one needs to change for you. This is an adult program, so this is referencing adults for adults. No one needs to change for you. The only adult you're allowed to change is yourself. That's it. Everyone else is on their own path. Who are you to know what someone needs more than what their own soul is telling them? It's very important that we remember that, because at this time we'll be able to offer freedom to some people, because we'll be reflecting our own sovereignty, and then we'll treat others with that respect as if they are sovereign too, treating them, holding space for their wholeness, their sovereignty, not trying to change them, not telling them they need to be another way, rather treating them as divine beings as they are in that moment. Giving someone that power and not constantly projecting the pressure of your expectations onto them frees them. And in that moment that you hold that space for that person, you don't know. You could be the final space that allows them to blossom into their next evolved self. You might just get to witness someone get better on the spot, become more an authentic version of their highest self, because they just spent so much time fielding the projections and expectations of others, constantly, psychically fielding the projections of others and expectations of others, and honing in the self and fielding, and finally they come into a space where they come upon a person like you or like me who treats them sovereign, who says whatever you do, it's divine. I support you in listening to your spirit. I don't have any expectations for you except to not hurt me. And then if you choose to hurt me, it's your sovereign right to do so, and you just don't get to have me around you anymore. All that freedom, all that power, I give that back to you. And in the spaces that we create as 5D beings, we give that power back to people. You don't need to change anything to be acceptable here. You just need to be the trueness of your soul, however that looks. The trueness of your soul, your highest vibrational self. Who am I to say what that is? It's up to your soul. Giving people that space, giving people that room, takes away that psychic pressure of the expectations. We really don't have any right to have expectations for other people unless we've committed to some kind of conscious contract with the person. And even then, things are up for reassessment, because this is a free will realm and ain't no one trapped ever. And so we move through the space with a sense of spiritual sovereignty, understanding that we have an intimate relationship with our own self, our own inner self, because we have our own intimate connection with source energy in our solar plexus. Because we're able to tap into source within, we no longer need to reference so much outside of ourselves for clarity and understanding. We begin to reference more within. And we begin to seek out and resonate towards spaces and people who can hold space for our sovereignty. Spaces and people who don't tell us how we need to be, who hold space for us to be however we friggin' choose to be. And that's great. Welcome. Come as you are. Not as I want you to be. As you choose on your own sovereign way. Some people may come into your space and you may find that they have learned to be held up by the expectations of others. And some people may respond into this energy where it's like they come into the space, an environment, or around the person who is sovereign and who offers them the freedom of that sovereignty. And they may not know what to do with themselves. They may not know what to do with themselves because they're just so used to being propped up by everybody's expectations and projections, used to kind of being told what to do. Those people may look to you as a leader. It doesn't make them your responsibility if they're grown-ups. You just get to continue to hold space for their sovereignty. If in their sovereignty, they choose to look up to you, they choose to say you're their mentor, they choose to this and that, that's their choice. It's their sovereign choice. If they end up being a creep and you tell them to get the fuck away from you and you gotta get a bodyguard, that's your sovereign choice. Freedom, baby. Spiritual freedom. Let's live life. Let's not run away from life. People are gonna do what they're gonna do, right? So let's retract and release all of our attachments to all of the people around us and all the people we may potentially meet. Let's retract, release all of our attachments to other people and all those expectations we have for them. That's a pressure that we put on them psychically that they don't deserve. It's not their job to please us and fulfill our needs. Other people, no. It's their job to please their soul and fulfill their soul's needs. And you are not another person's soul. That don't make no sense. You're your soul. You got enough to do in there. So don't you dare start reaching around trying to puppet someone else or tell them what to do. When we're all just as lost, just like we are all just as illuminated in this time. Each one of us have divine truths that come online as we start to activate into our sovereign centers and start to move forward via spirit rather than via as a puppet of the expectations of the people around you. For some young people, they go through this awakening rather early. Maybe earlier than I did, I don't remember. They go through this awakening moment, and that's when they're like, I don't know what to do with my life. Why do I say young people? Souls, whatever. I don't know what to do with my life now. I don't know what to do. I'm so used to everyone telling me what to do, but I don't like when anyone tells me what to do. It's not what I want. I don't know what to do. You're halfway there, babe. What do you want? Meditate. Spend time alone. Figure out what you'd like to do. That's up to you. That's your birthright, to find out what makes your soul sing. What is your soul gravitating towards? The beach, a tree, a kitchen, a library, an empty notebook and pencils, art store, science book, college, meditation. I mean, that's a tiny list. Who the heck knows except you what your soul is going to compel you to do when you decide to start to follow soul? And most of us here are already following soul, so we're like, yeah, I know, right? It's so funny. Sometimes soul will just tell me to wash the dishes. Sometimes soul just tells me, take out the trash, move the clothes out of that corner, and rotate your couch 5 inches. And don't wear black for 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, I won't. And then 2 weeks later, Spirit's like, good job. Now I can trust you with this information. This person and this person are actually doing this, and then that person. And it's like, whoa, downloads. And you just come upon information. And you just move forward accordingly. No longer is it about creating issues, making people change. Rather, it's just consistently about this intimate relationship that you have with your spirit and moving forward in accordance with spirit. So take a deep breath and allow yourself to continue to release all of these expectations that you project on other people to be ways that you need them to be. Understand that's you inhibiting their growth. You don't need another adult to be anyway. Let them be adults. Let the people around you blossom and bloom just the way you want to be. Let to blossom and bloom the way you so desire. Offer other people that opportunity as well at this time. Hold that space for them. The media is doing the opposite. The majority is doing the opposite. You will represent an energy of freedom. It will feel healing. But healing is a person's choice. And we don't want to get into that tangent too far, but holding space does offers the potential for a person to step into their highest vibrational self, because you're not infringing on them at all, so they don't need to defend themselves for their sovereignty in any way when you're around them. They just get to be and blossom, and you're like, hey, what's up, God? There's God shining through you. That's so cool. So cool how God is choosing to express itself through a human, through you. That's how I am as sovereign. I'm like, whoa, God's like that too? That's amazing. That's so cool. Learning about God every day through each different person I meet. Amazing. Oh my God, the infinite ways in which God can express itself. Amazing. Amazing. I'm not like, oh, God fucked up with this one. Stacy here, God fucked up on Stacy. I got this one, God. Don't you worry. You really think that would ever be the case? God, everyone is sovereign. I'm sovereign. But this person here, I know what's best for them. I know. No, that's never the case. It's never the case. Ever, 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 ever. There's nothing that holds more wisdom than a person's own connection to the source energy within them. Source energy within you will never tell you to change another person. Source energy may tell you to express yourself. Source energy may tell you to do something in a different way. Source energy may tell you to move in a different way, behave in a different way, talk in a different way, go to a different place. Source energy will tell you to do lots of things to yourself. But source energy will never, ever, ever, ever expect you to inflict anything onto another person except love and or discernment. That's it. Okay, so that's my light code about how you have no right to change another person. And the main reason that I want to inspire everybody to retract their expectations from the people around them so that they can feel free, is because in all those situations that you decide that you need people to be a certain way, but you haven't even really told them you need them to be a certain way. You just have these strange abstract expectations of them. I'm not talking about basic human, like, nice shit. I'm not talking about basic stuff. I'm talking about intermediate spiritual work here. Okay, we're not talking, are they nice to me? It's not what we're talking about. For whoever just asked me that question telepathically, please do not interrupt me by asking me telepathic questions in the middle of channeling. Thank you. Thank you. Hold your questions till the end and put them in the comments. My telepathic space is currently being used. It's a recalling of our power, my loves. It's a recalling of our power. When we retract these attachments that we put onto other people, these needs for other people to be certain ways for us, it's us giving away our power. Saying, I can't be happy and powerful on my own. I need these other people to be other ways in order for me to be happy. And what if God or your angels or whatever look at that and they're like, sweetie, you're stuck then. Because the way you need these people to be in order for you to be happy is not in alignment with their spirits. So it doesn't matter how badly you need this person or these people to be different for you. You would be asking them to go out of alignment with their spirits. There are some things in life that are bigger than you avoiding your shadow work. Like projecting it onto other people and saying that they need to change so that you don't have to be touched. No. You will have to touch yourself. Spiritually. You will have to go in there and say, ooh, I'm giving my power away in all these ways that I expect people to be certain ways for me, and when they're not, I'm emotionally attached to the outcome. How people choose to be is none of your business. What is 1,000% your business? That's what you do with yourself. Who you choose to go around, who you talk to. It's all your business. What you do with you is your business. What other people do and why they do it. Why they do it is none of your business. You just can't. You have no right to claim, I know more than God. Yeah, all people are sovereign, but there's this one person, and I think that God messed up, and that I'm actually supposed to tell them what their spirit wants. Like, no. And what freedom. I hope you feel such a strong power and freedom when you start to feel how your energy comes back to you. Once you no longer depend on people around you inappropriately and in a non-reciprocal way to be different than they want to be for you. Like, what if you think you want someone in your life to be a certain way because that's what you think you want, and you project all this like pressure onto them to like fit your expectation, and then once you release that expectation, they blossom into something completely different and you like that more? Because that's what God does. That's the kind of thing that God will do. God will make you think you want a thing until you realize that you're holding on to something that's not right. And as soon as you let go of it, God gives you better. Because God will keep reminding you that you're not just the God body alone. You're the God body in the physical human body. As long as you're in this physical human body, there will be a process that we will go through of slowly bringing the God energy through our bodies and building with that God energy on the physical. It is a slow process of taking a physical body that once vibrated in one frequency in order to build things in one dimension, and is slowly changing the vibration of the body to change the frequency of the creations so that we can start to build in a new dimension. We just got to this new dimension. We have built very little things here so far. We are all now just realizing that we can only create real structures in the high vibrational planes when we can maintain that high vibrational way of being as we create. As we create. So one of our final pass-throughs as we step into this fifth dimension is releasing the need for anyone else to be there with you. Is releasing the need for anyone to be anything for you. And to feel the freedom of bearing witness to the divinity of each and every person, however they so decide to express. Releasing the emotional attachment to what other people are doing when it has nothing to do with you. Let them express their souls. Do not infringe on another person's self-expression because it's not pleasing to you. Who do you think you are? Why would another person's existence be in order to please you? Do you understand how fucked up that sounds? No. Pleasure is a birthright. You can give that to yourself. It is no one's job. The big thing here is, my loves, you might have a whole list of things that you need, like your partner or your friend to be or do to be different, to be better for you. And you could actually be completely wrong. The way that their soul wants them to grow and the version of themselves that they're actually going to grow into, or the version of themselves they would grow into if you weren't constantly inhibiting their energy by projecting expectations on them all the time, would be better. Nothing like what you think they're supposed to be, and better what you than what you think they're supposed to be. And if you can just stop infringing on them and unnecessarily dumping your power onto them and giving them a bunch of responsibility that they are not in a place to have, they're going through the same spiritual process that you're all going through. Each person, we're all going through the same thing. Why you think someone who's maybe less spiritual than you is somehow going to be able to hold up all of your expectations and hold up all of these things in order to keep you sane? No, that's codependency. Please, free the people around you. Retract your power. Retain it. Self-sustain. Be sovereign. Choose for yourself and yourself only. Watch what other people do. Ooh, I almost couldn't get that out. Watch what other people do and say, wow, look at God. And 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 look at all the amazing and interesting ways that God is choosing to express himself, herself in this moment. Wow, look at God. Some things resonate, some things do not. That's okay, because I'm just one being. You're just one being. You can't be 100 places at once. Everything doesn't need to resonate. You just need one thing to resonate at a time for every now moment. And sometimes you just stay in the same spot and the things seem to cycle towards you. A lot of times we have to transmute disappointment because someone didn't uphold our projected expectations of them. And a huge part of advanced shadow work is being okay with the fact that you hurt your own feelings because you decided someone needed to be a certain way that they were never going to be, and then they never hit that expectation, and then you felt your feelings hurt. My boyfriend thinks this is a funny quality about me, but I'm really an advocate for explicit communication. Explicit. Don't come in here with expectations. No, let's be explicit. How do you need help? What is it that you need? How do you want it? How do you like it? How do you like it? What do you want? You're inviting me into your space? Okay. Here's how I like it. Here are my boundaries. And I'm going to be explicit. Here's where I like it. Here's how I like to be spoken to, and I'm going to be explicit. Because then there's no pressure for anyone. If they can't handle whatever, they know the way I am. If they can't handle it, then they're not going to reach out to me. Then we're not going to hang out. And that's okay. because we respect each other's power. Maybe sometimes someone's like, I'm not ready, I don't want to be deep today. I don't want to be deep, I don't want to talk about deep things. They're probably not going to call me that day because that is a quality about me that I can't help. So there's going to be a lot of freedom in the releasing of our expectations of other people and just allowing ourselves to exist as autonomous beings, sovereign, responsible for ourselves, and also treating other people in that same way. Offering them the same respect that you give yourself, even if maybe no one else in their life offers them that respect, even if they don't offer themselves that respect, still treating them in that sovereign way, because that is what you represent. That's how we not only inspire other people, but that's how we start to plant seeds of high vibrational realities in other places and become portals. Because we finally give someone an experience where they can feel their sovereignty for a moment, and that spark of a moment could be something that really takes them and triggers a gorgeous spiritual awakening. And you don't need credit for it, you don't need to be there for it, you just happen to not cut them off. You just happen to notice them and say, hey, how are you? I saw that you were ahead of me, go ahead. Or whatever moment in life that this kind of thing happens. However someone is choosing to present or act or behave, if it's not about you, and if they're not talking to you, then it's none of your business. Where this gets tough in terms of sovereignty is when it comes to abuse. What if I see someone abusing someone else and I want to stick up for them? I do too. And so that's when we look into power versus force. That's a book by David R. Hawkins, MD, PhD. I'd recommend everyone read it. It's one of the most influential books and has influenced a huge foundation of my understanding of the vibrations of emotions. And I cite that book a lot in a lot of my older articles on my website. Power versus force. In essence, this looks at how there is an innate power that a person feels that can cause them, that they embrace within themselves their own personal power. They become influential, inspiring, and naturally people gravitate towards them and seek them for leadership. And there are other peoples who are unable to embody their own power, embrace their own power. And so they seek to change others, and they seek to use force. They seek to change others, to trick others, to manipulate others, so that others do not use their power and kind of secede their power or circumvent their power over to this person who's taking force over them. And so that person feels a sense of false power by putting others in circumstances where they're not in their power. Force. We never want to use principles of force. And when we see someone else using a principle of force, the universe allows us to witness that. Your spirit may call you to take action. Again, though, you would not be telling someone, don't be that way. You have no right to tell someone how to be, yo. What you do have the right, though, is to stick up for the little guy. If you think there's a moment where you can stick up for someone, Spirit is telling me, chances are, if that is you in this situation and this light code is for you, we'll get a little more specific. You will know before it happens if you need to interject. You're going to feel it before it happens. And what Spirit would recommend is you just, if you think that someone is about to be like verbally victimized publicly, or you're about to see someone in a public place be like someone being forceful with them in a way, you just have to stand nearby to that person in your sovereignty energy. It's a victim person. Stand nearby to them, and just by basic power of vibrations, hopefully that will be enough to shift the energy of that circumstance, and that will inspire that person enough to stand up for themselves. Because in a circumstance when you're sticking up for someone, we always want to not create more friction, but rather change the power balance. We want to change that power balance. This is spiritual guidance, my loves. This is spiritual guidance. This is not social guidance. This is not career guidance. This is not, mental health guidance, physical health guidance. No, this is spiritual guidance. This is energy work here. Sometimes we can witness people in very passive environments dominating and using force. Sometimes, for instance, like let's say someone's in a really bad mood and they're in kind of a managerial position, or they're in kind of more of an upper position. And so like the environment that they're kind of managerialing over is in a really shitty vibe. And so you walk into the space and you feel it, but you don't feel like being influenced by that energy. So what are you going to do? You're going to be like, oh, the energy in here is so shit. Oh, I can't wait to leave. And the cashier's a shithead to you, and everyone's just like, blah. I don't do that. I'm like, hello there. Happy Friday. Thank you so much. Oh, really? Oh, I can do that. Not a problem. Oh, you need my mask to be a little more perfect? No problem. Oh, you're out of soy milk? No problem. Oh, you're out of almond milk? No problem. Yep, okay. What do you got? That's great. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Let's keep going on with the day. What's next, baby? What's next, baby? What's next, baby? And everyone around's like, wow. The stink energy doesn't seem to be permeating this person's energy field. The stank in the room doesn't seem to be forcing this person to stop shining their light. It's because that person is sovereign. That person doesn't need the validation of other people for them to be their soul. And they can stay their soul no matter what energy and environment they step into. And if they need to pump it up and stick up for every single person in the space by just shining that light and doing your thing no matter what, then that's what has to happen. And it will inspire others. And someone will say, oh yeah, I was in a great mood today before I came in here. And someone else will say, oh my God, she reminds me of my auntie. And immediately they're in a better mood. And then all of a sudden the energy in the space starts shifting. It really doesn't take much because we live in a benevolent universe. And also the soul naturally wants to shine through. Real easy to get energy moving in a high vibrational way, pretty much anywhere you go, just by choosing to be your soul. Not always easy. Sometimes it's so uncomfortable and like you're tired, so you don't feel like being like, I am soul, hear me shine. And it's more like, let me go on stealth mode. Let me go on stealth mode. Stealth mode, that's kind of like where you stay in your high vibration, but you're just like, invisible and somehow people can't see you. You're just like, people can see you on the road and people can see that you're a body in line, but no one really fucks with you at all. It's like there's this aura around you that like no one wants to fuck with you. That's the thing too. I call it stealth mode. But other times when I've got the energy, I like to shine. I like to emanate positive energies into my space. I like to consciously be sovereign in the space that I'm around because I never know. You never know who spirit is going to bring around us to get a taste of that sovereign energy to kind of trigger that spiritual awakening. That's something that really inspires me. That might not inspire everybody, but I do identify as a light worker, and that's definitely a quality that that's a light worker would, have. So it makes sense for me. I'm okay with that. I even get a label. Oh, I'm so glad I could finally get that light code out. I've been wanting to tell you guys that all day. I've been wanting to free you guys and remind you guys of that all day. You don't have to make anyone do anything. You can always tell, like, when it comes to romance, your lover, a best friend, the ice cream clerk, you can say, I like mint chocolate chip. We don't have mint chocolate chip? Okay, then I don't want ice cream. No, thank you. Do you have sorbet? You do? Ooh. Do you have kiwi sorbet? You do? Ooh, I'll take that. You have every right to say what flavor you want. And if you're offered a flavor that you do not want, you say, no, thank you. No, thank you. Do you have this one? And that's what life is in the higher vibrations. We're collaborating. We're like, here's what I have to offer. This is where I'm at. Oh, that's where you're at. I don't want to be around that at all. I'm not going to go here again. You know what I mean? Or you can just straight up tell that person, oh, I live by completely different, a different outlook, but I gotta say that is so friggin' interesting. Have a great day. A lot of people, I feel, are healing out of socially victimized place of being, because they're starting to realize that they are victimizing themselves to feelings of betrayal and disappointment that weren't actually being accurately viewed from a centered place, that they actually just were feeling the feelings of them projecting expectations onto other people, and when those people didn't fit those and hit those expectations, they felt betrayed and they felt disappointed, and it was self-inflicted. And that's a tough part of the shadow work, to pass through that, to realize, like, wow, some of that suffering was self-inflicted. At that point, I really thought it was that person's job to be how I wanted them to be. I wanted them to somehow ignore their own personal spiritual experience in order to cater to my comfort. How selfish, how ridiculous. But I forgive myself, right? I forgive myself. Human emotions, they can do a doozy on us, right? So forgive yourself. And then also take a deep breath and keep moving forward. We move forward every day more informed, more illuminated, with more downloads, with more clarity, with more information. And sometimes we have so much data and so much information that it doesn't feel clear to move forward, and so we don't. We let it percolate, we let it integrate, until we feel that fire move us forward once more. And in the moments where Spirit says, be still, seek solitude, find your center, in those moments we do, and we don't worry, because we know that life is still going, and it will continue to hit us. Who knows who might knock on your door or send you an email or send you a text while you're meditating. Life does go on. People don't forget about you just because you're meditating. So allow yourself to clock out and to clock into that soul, and then to stay clocked in forever. I give you permission. You may just be soul for the rest of your life. Just be soul. And be willing to know that God's plan is bigger and more perfect than your plan. So how you think people should be ain't shit to how God is making people. So bear witness to divinity in action in your life, rather than think that you are God's whiteout pen and somehow you're fixing all the errors, okay? No errors. No errors. There is a rebalancing of energies going on, though. So let's do our part. Let's do our part. Align with the soul. Be your soul. Enjoy your life from the heart center as your soul. Every day you awake, you are anew. Fresh light codes and downloads came in while you slept. We learn things throughout our days that integrate while we sleep. So we awake each day in gratitude and in love, because we are alive and able to continue to experience this interesting life. We came into this world when we were born. There's a chance that there was quite a bit of pain that was experienced by the woman who birthed us. And so as we entered into this world inflicting pain, it's only natural that on occasion we will experience that emotion that existed at the very threshold of our incarnation, okay? Pain will still happen sometimes. And I mean, this is spiritual guidance, so I'm just talking about spiritual pain, but I know you guys can probably take this and retranslate it into something else. Discomfort, it's a part of the human experience. Okay? So before you take your emotion, let your emotions take you on a doozy because you're feeling uncomfortable. Make sure you're not making yourself feel uncomfortable, because you're giving your power away to a bunch of external sources that you feel should be a way that they're not being. Because what you are doing is self-abusing. No one can save you from that except yourself, because you put yourself in that. It's not that outside person or source's responsibility to fit your image. Okay? You fit your image. And you get to be as picky as you want. You can tell you to do whatever you want. But that's really all you have reign over. And like if you make a business or if you have an organization, you know what I mean? Only if it's yours, your body, your creation. That felt really, really great to get out. Wow, 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Okay, that's so funny. I thought I was going to maybe have like a couple different light codes, but that was like one chunk of a light code. One big chunk. But I'm glad that I drilled it in. I'm glad I took the time and space to share these light codes, because I do feel like even as I was sharing these light codes, they were integrating and settling more into myself, and I appreciate that. Thank you for holding this space for me. I'm grateful this space exists for us. I hope these light codes are reminders for you. I hope they resonate. I hope they just remind you, because you probably already know all this stuff in your soul anyways, and that's where I come in, just to remind you. Take deep breaths. It's okay if this just put you into a bunch of shadow work and you realize all the ways that you've been fucking up. It's okay. If you're alive, you got a chance to change. And you are the one who changes you. Hallelujah. Thank you, Spirit. Every day we start anew. Every moment we have pure freedom to choose how we want to be and what we want to be. We do not have to live by other people's expectations. We do not have to live making sure that we are fitting everyone else's comfort. Remember that we are sovereign too. No one has any right to tell us who we are and how we are and how we need to be. Just not how it is. I would never inflict my expectations onto you, and so when someone inflicts their expectations onto me, I'm like, that's nice. You're going to be disappointed because I ain't doing none of that shit for you. I got my own divine path to walk on. I'm rubber, you're glue, baby. That is why this message of sovereignty and respecting the sovereignty of others is so important. Because it's the next level of discipline, of spiritual discipline, and embodying our sovereign selves. I'm sovereign with myself, yeah, and I'm sovereign with others too. I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. I'm not thinking I'm better than other people or more than other people. Instead, I see that I'm truly equal. And maybe other people in my perception may not be embracing their power the way I'm embracing my power, but I'm still going to treat them like the fully powerful beings they are, just as powerful as I am, even if maybe they're choosing not to channel all of it right now. So remember, when it comes to your body, your space, your home, your business, whether it's your partner with your body, or your friends with your body, guests in your space in your home, or employees in your business, you choose what goes on there. You set the boundaries you need to set. You are the rule maker there for how things come to you. And then everyone else has the sovereignty in whether or not they would like to follow and respect those boundaries. For those who do not agree with your boundaries, those are the ones that you don't keep around you. Just like I have the sovereignty to respect a boundary to say, don't touch me. You might say, that's not going to work for me. I'd like to touch my friends. And I'll say, well then, respectfully, we can't be friends, and that's okay. That's okay. You have every right to want to touch your friends, and I have every right to not want to be touched. And so because I respect sovereignty, we will not be friends, because what you can't ever do is force me to be your friend. Just like you can't force me to let you touch me, right? So we set that boundary. So I saw someone in the comments was asking about employees. You tell them the rules of your business, baby. And if they don't follow them, then they're not going to work for you, right? No one gets to tell you. That time is over. It's the age of Aquarius. Okay? No two people have to be the same ever again. There are too many unique doors to the fifth dimension that need to be opened by so many unique souls and unique vibrations, because it is such a colorful and dimensional and complex realm. There's no cookie cutter anything, expression of anything, except for that vibration of love that two people would have in common. It shouldn't look the same. Everyone shouldn't look like me, dress like me, talk like me, whatever the fuck. We're going to be looking different. And we may speak our truths in different ways. But what's most important is that we do speak our truths. And we continue to walk through these doorways and these portals of being our highest and highest and highest vibrational selves. Letting the soul guide us so that we can start to actually physically work with reality from that high vibrational place, so that the creations that we make now become physical portals to the high vibrational plane. Do you ever walk into like a really beautifully architectured church or building and you're like, oh, it feels incredible in here? There are very few buildings like that, but it's because the artist who created it was in a super high vibration. More like if you like go into a forest and you're like, oh, the energies, my God, it's beautiful. Or like me, my church is the beach. So I go to church, I go to the beach, and it's like, oh, the heavenly energies, there's so much. It's because like those are creations of Source. So like the forest or the beach, those are like environments that Source created. So they're, untouched by man. There's no roof at the beach. There's no roof and floor at the forest. It's God's roof. It's God's floor. It's God's walls. And so like those kind of places, you're like, you feel the high vibrational energy, that Source energy. So we can start to do that, whether we're making forests or making beaches, or we're actually building buildings, creating buildings, making art, creating organizations, making an opera, writing a book, making a song, inventing something in science, exploring things. It's taking your high vibrational self now, bringing it into your hands, and actually doing things with your hands into the world now, and allowing your soul to continue to lead you and guide you as you continue to do physical things in the world. And it's those structures you leave behind that you created when in that high vibrational place that become portals. So then people who may not be high vibrational yet, whose spirit, who the divine brings to align with those physical portals, they get access to activation. Access to activation, the opportunity to activate. They don't have to. But if they so choose, they can be influenced by the vibration that is coming off of the beacon that you created, that is your creation in the physical plane from spirit. That's why it's so important for artists to create art. Take a deep breath. There's no path you need to follow. Chances are you're a pioneer. Other people might follow the path that you, yourself, in fact, traverse and build. So thank you for doing that. And I love you. Thank you for doing that hard work of being spiritually disciplined and training yourself to be sovereign and treat others as sovereign, even when they don't treat themselves as sovereign. Okay? Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for holding space with me as I channel these messages straight from my heart, straight from my source connection in the solar plexus. So we are doing our weekly meditations. We have a meditation on Monday and Wednesday on Zoom. You can sign up on my website. I have my monthly energy report that is also up on my website. We have the booking page on my website if you want to book a personal reading with me. And then if you want to get a written year ahead reading, you can also get that on my website. I'm celebrating my birthday this weekend, and I have my birthday next week. So if you don't see me, just know it's probably because I'm having fun. Don't worry, probably just having fun. But thank you for loving me. Hey Alyssa, I love you. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for holding space for me. Thank you for being there for me. And I hope I can continue to be there for you. I hope that's what Spirit keeps doing for me. What I promise is I'm going to keep showing up for you. Okay? If it keeps resonating, then that's just divine. And if not, that's divine too. You just get to move forward without me. As a sovereign being. Thank you for the love in the comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you and I love you, thank you and I love you. Thank you, Angela. Thank you and I love you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Dayla. Love you, love you, love you. Thank you, Grishma. Love you, love you, love you. Thank you, Rachel. Have a beautiful day, night, morning, weekend. These light codes are timeless. I just hope they resonate. Bye, my love.